If you're having trouble getting your 3D printed parts to fit together nicely, then this is likely due to the accuracy of the printer, also known as the tolerance. To check this, I'm going to print this tolerance test from MakerWorld. In your slicer you can see the number denoting the gap size between the different parts of the model. After slicing, the 0.05mm gap will be sealed. This is because the default settings can't account for such a small gap size. We'll come back to this later in the video. But first let's print this version. As the slice preview showed, everything besides the 0.05mm gap can move relatively freely. What this means is that if I'm designing two pieces that need to fit together, then 0.1mm is the minimum clearance I can have between the two parts. If I want looser fitting parts, then I might go for something like 0.3mm. Tolerance can also vary by printer. That first one was printed on a Bambu Lab P1S, whereas the second one was printed on a Snapmaker U1. And while they're pretty similar, the 0.1mm gap printed on the U1 is a bit tighter than the P1S, so a 0.15mm clearance would probably be required on the U1. I mentioned earlier that the default settings can't produce the 0.05mm gap, so if we head back to the slicer and over to the quality tab, and then scroll down to the precision section, the most relevant setting is the slice gap closing radius, which means that any gap with a size that's less than 2 times the size of this number will be sealed. This sounds confusing, but in this case it means anything with a gap smaller than 0.098mm will be sealed, which includes the 0.05mm gap obviously. So if we reduce it to a value below this, and then slice the model, you can actually now see the 0.05mm gap in the slice preview. Unfortunately this didn't translate to the printed model, despite the fact you can see the lines for the gap around the 0.05mm clearance. Perhaps a 0.2mm nozzle would fix this issue though. Either way, I hope you learned something about printer tolerances, and you can apply this knowledge to your own prints and designs. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and follow for more 3D printing tips and tutorials.